Well, hi folks, this is Darren with MyRV Works. We get a lot of questions from folks on our YouTube videos and things that we put on out there on social media, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, all these different places where we're putting our videos out there. People are watching them, and they're reaching out to us asking us some questions. So we've got a question coming in from Barbara. She's in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've watched what was that movie, Elizabethtown. I think it was Elizabethtown, and there's Kirsten Dunst is on the plane explaining to who's the guy? Total brain fade. I knew his name. And they're going through Louisville. So I say Louisville. Okay. So if I got it wrong, please correct me and don't hate me. So Barbara has a furnace question. Now she's got a Suburban furnace. It's not the exact same one as this. She's got an NT. This is an SF. And she's got an NT20 furnace, which tells us it's 20,000 BTU furnace. 20,000 BTUs is at the gas input port, not how much heat the thing's going to produce, okay? So here's Barbara's question, or here's the symptoms that her furnace is displaying. It'll go through a lockout mode constantly. And when she'll do a reset, it'll work fine after that. It will continue to work and relight every time normally. And then it'll sit for several hours or overnight, and then it'll have to go through this reset where she has to turn the thing off, turn it back on again. And she just bought this used camper, and basically what could be going on here. And so Barbara, let me see if we can help you out here. I don't know if you can gain access to the front of your furnace, like from the outside. Like some RV manufacturers will put an access door where you can get to everything. Let me get over on this side. These are my little show and tell furnaces. And I think what I'll do is I'll bring everybody closer. But sometimes you can get to the front. There's an access door here, and you can get to the front of this furnace. And if you can, that's fantastic. If you can't, then you'll need to pull your furnace out and put it on a bench and do the test that I'm about to show you. So let me bring you closer, because I want to show you some things that I want you to check to see if you can figure this out. So however you can, you'll need to get to the front of this furnace to do some testing, okay? You're going to need a meter. Okay, Barbara, I think your problem's your sail switch, but we can't say that. We have to prove it. Okay. Now in yours, the sail switch may be inside your cover here, but some of them they put them on the outside. So this will be the sail switch, but sometimes you'll know it's on the inside because you might see two little bumps here, which are the screws. And to do that, you'll have to take off the 4 screws to take the cover out. But the sail switch will be in there. But what you can do, this is falling off, so I'm just going to. I'll put it right there. Okay. So you're going to take your meter and you're going to put your meter into DC volts mode. Okay. So I'm on DC voltage, and you're going to start your furnace, and you're going to keep doing this until the furnace goes into this lockout mode. Okay. These are one of these situations where it's intermittent. It's very difficult to diagnose an intermittent problem. And so we almost need to catch it when it does these things. But I'll show you what you're going to be looking for. And in situations like this, if I'm in the field, this is where I might put a data logger on your furnace for a couple days, a week or so, and come back. And the data logger will show me what the problem is. If it's intermittent, not always, but a lot of times it'll help. But what you're going to want to do is on your control board, you're going to want to monitor. I'm going to assume that they use the same color codes. So yellow is ground. The brown wire is going to energize your gas solenoid. Blue is a signal coming back from the thermostat telling the fan to start. And then red is the wire we're after. Red is a wire that just went through the whole loop and came back and said, we're good to go. Okay, sail switch. So I put a little pointy tip on the end of my meter lead, and I'm going to put this right in here on my red lead on my furnace. Okay, and I'm just going to let it sit there. The other side of the meter I've grounded to frame. Okay, now if your furnace is going to go into lockout, then you will not have. Okay, so let me just explain what you should expect to see. When your furnace starts, the first thing it's going to do is the fan is going to turn on, okay? So if you were to take your lead and move it over to the blue wire, then coinciding with a thermostat calling for heat, then the blue wire should be energized, okay? Thermostat calls for heat, blue wire is energized, thermostat goes away from heat, blue wire is not energized. Now, hold on for a second, because this has to do with the Suburban furnace. This may not be true on the Dometic or Atwood furnaces. So we're talking about the Suburban circuit here. So the blue wire basically that's telling this board, hey, start your fan. Now your fan is over here. You have the red and the black wires going directly into the fan. And if you follow the red wire, follow, he's going to come right onto the board. So how does the fan know to start? The board told it to start. And how did the board tell it to start? Because he got 12 volts coming in on our blue wire. Okay, now we can, for our purposes, we could just ignore our yellow wire because that's ground, okay? And we can just, at this point, we can ignore the brown wire because that goes to our gas solenoid. You can follow it over down here. So that leaves this blue and this red wire. Again, blue wire, thermostat call for heat. Thermostat take the call for heat away will coincide with a signal, 12-volt signal on our blue wire, leaving the red wire. Now the red wire, if you follow it, it's going to go to our sail switch. Some of you might have a sail switch inside, and so the wires are going to come in on the edge here. And sometimes they'll have red and black, blue and blue, blue with white stripe and blue, white and black. There's all these different color codes. In my furnace videos, I call it the blue circuit because it's not to be confused with this blue circuit, but it's the one that came back from the thermostat as a blue wire when it comes into this thing, and then they start changing the colors on us. So this red circuit, if we follow this red circuit back, and this is what you need to figure out, okay? When your furnace is going to go into lockout, that is to say the furnace tried to start and it couldn't. My position is I'm pretty sure it's going to be your sail switch, but we need to prove it, okay? So what you would then do is when you have a call for heat, as soon as that fan starts, you should also, coinciding with the fan starting, the sail switch is going to make pretty much right away, then you should get 12 volts on your red wire, okay? If your fan starts and you don't get 12 volts on your red wire, then that's an indication your sail switch is fouled, okay? This one here, I see a lot of crap all over it, you know, and that could get inside of here. Even if your sail switch is making a clicky-click sound, it could be faulted out inside the points inside the switch. Now, you could take some electronic parts cleaner and clean it, or if you can't find a switch, and sometimes it's easier to find the electronic parts cleaner, and just squirt the switch out and hit it with some of that office compressed air stuff. And that may or may not clean the points inside of this thing. The points are what I'm talking about, these little points inside the switch that close. So you can hear the clicky sound, but that mechanically switch might work, but the switch may not work electrically, okay? So if we follow this red wire, it's going to go to one side of our switch, okay? So I'm just going to move this over. So if you could get it on a bench, and if you have 12 volts on this side, when the fan is running, you should have it on this side, okay? And if we were to follow this back, let's just show you where that goes. Let me unplug some things. Here, I'm going to move this control board off just to make it easier. Okay, so if, by the way, we're talking about the yellow wire being ground. Here we have all of our grounds right here on the bottom, okay? So any frame component will be grounded. And if we turn this thing around to the back, here's our high temperature switch. I don't think this is your problem. I don't, because it's acting to me like it's more of a sail switch problem. What I mean is a sail switch, when it starts to work, it's working fine, like you're saying, but then when it sits for a while, it might get a little gummed up or something and kind of foul out. Now here we have a wire that has been bitten into by this metal right here. So I'm looking at it right now. That may have been one of the problems. If you look a little close here, you can see that white wire's got a little piece missing out of it, probably because it went over this edge right here. This guy's good. So we come back from the thermostat on our white wire, I believe. We go through our high temperature switch. Basically, this one's saying, hey, did I get too hot? Is there a dog laying on the register? Is there clothes or toys or carpets or rugs laying on side of my registers, not allowing me to shed all this heat that I need to get out? And if there is, then this is going to get hot and it's going to trip this guy. Now, another thing I notice as I'm doing a little show and tell on this one, if you look real close, let me hold this up with one hand right here. I want you to look at. There's a crack in that heat exchanger, isn't there? Okay. I don't know if you guys can see it with the lighting, but there, I'll just move it around. You'll see a crack in this heat exchanger right here. So the reason I have this furnace is because it failed its annual inspection. Maybe it was because of this problem here, but certainly there's a crack right here, which that's why we need to do annual inspections on our furnace, and we're looking for stuff like that. But anyway, I'm just show and tell on this. So Barbara, I think your problem is your sail switch, and I think that's how you would diagnose that. You would look on your control board where the red wire comes in. Okay, I still have my probe in there. Because a red wire should go hot 12 volts when your fan runs. And that is telling us that we've made it through our high temperature switch. We've made it through our sail switch into our board. And I'm positioning that when your furnace is not working and is going into lockout, that you're not getting voltage on this red wire. Now, if you are getting voltage on the red wire, like we expect it to be, at that point, only then would I suspect there's something with this board. Because at that point, the board is getting all the correct signals, but it's not sending out any problem. It's not sending out the correct signals out. But the fact that it's working properly over and over and over again, but then it sits for a while and it doesn't, I'm pretty much saying that the board's probably fine, or we would see more board type problems. Your problem seems to me that it's more of a sail switch problem. So that would be something that would be a way to check it. So, hey, I hope that helps. And if it does, thumb up the video, like us on Facebook, all these other little medias we've got. Check out our videos on our playlist. We've got plenty of them. And happy camper, say my ever works. And so this is Darren signing off until the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.